Mr. Mr. Malcolm D. Lee. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, brother. How are you? Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. I love what you're doing. I guess we can no longer, like we used to say, Malcolm D. Lee, director, Malcolm D. Lee, filmmaker, but you're now Malcolm D. Lee, master of everything these days, right?
I wouldn't say that. I'm just expanding. I'm just trying to, see where I can, where I get in, where I fit in.
Well, I like what you're doing because you're sort of using your origins, like the Best Man movie, like you know, classic movie. It spawned several other movies, and now it's helped you to jump into the world of writing. And you decided to do a novel. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the inspiration behind that to continue the story, but continue the story in another medium?
Yeah, I've always loved the written word. I consider myself a storyteller first, before I even consider myself a filmmaker. And I love to write, and I love the written word. And I've always wanted to try novel writing. And this was an easier way to transition into that by taking characters that I'm very well familiar with, that I created, that I wanted to keep telling their story because I don't think I did everything that I wanted to do with the final chapters, but. I said, well, let me try to see what I can do it within this medium. And so I gave it a shot, and I'm very happy with the result.
Were you inspired by this because there were so many fans and so many people who watched the television series, and a lot of them said they wanted more?
They wanted more. I think that was part of it for sure. That like, okay, man, I hope that they're not, disappointed that there's a book. But I think a book is actually, there's more expansive storytelling in a book. You get into the characters' heads in a way different way than you could with film and television. And so I was excited to take on that challenge and to give fans more. They wanted more. This is definitely more, in terms of, getting into their heads, experiencing smells, tastes, love making, what have you. There's a lot going on in this book, that, I think that just expands on the storytelling that, I was able to do with the first two movies as well as the series.
So, what's the difference between writing a screenplay and writing a novel?
Well, it's all storytelling at the end of the day, but you have a lot more freedom, to you know, with where you want to set your story. And this takes place over four different cities and two different continents. And you get into people's heads, as I said before. You get to you don't really have any restriction on how long of a story you're going to tell and how deep your storytelling is going to get. So, I mean, you don't want to bore people, you want to, overwhelm people, but,
Right.
it's very propulsive. And I get to, talk about these characters and describe them in ways that I haven't been able to do yet.
Now, tell me this. I know this is a crazy question, so please don't kill me. And
Okay.
I know I should not ask this question, but I'm
What?
fascinated
Come
by it.
on, bring it.
I'm gonna bring this. Do you have a favorite character you like to write for?
Not really. Not really. I tell you, Um, I was very protective of Robin. I felt like after Best Man, the decision the Best Man final chapter, the decision she made to choose herself first and to take her child with her, people really did not like that, from her. And so I wanted to have an opportunity to get inside her head and also to get inside Harper's head and their history in a deeper way that we hadn't known before. Is a piece of it that was in Best Man Holiday, but we expand on that, in this storytelling. So, it was a joy to write for her. It was a joy to write for Harper in this iteration of life that he's in. And a chance to also like have the other characters. It was great to have them other characters, you know, use pieces of dialogue that like I always have fun with, and so it was just great to write for all of them. I don't have a favorite, and I don't think it's a taboo question. I think it's a question that is fair, but I don't, and there's no character that I don't like writing for.
Okay, I like the way you ended that. I also like the way that this franchise has evolved in a much different way than anything we've ever seen before. Because you started with the movie that became a classic, then you had the sequel, then another sequel, then you had a television series, but you've also developed a bond with the actors in the movie. Now you guys are in business together,
Hey,
and now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
writing books together. I mean, that's I've never really seen that before.
No, I tell you what, like it wasn't the plan. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the plan to make it right in the first best man. I just wanted to get my career started. I wanted to tell stories about African American men that I felt was missing from the popular culture. And so now to get to a point where, a novel's been written, and then there's two more to come that me, Morris, Tay, and Harold have expanded, and bonded together and to make a bottle of bourbon. It's very exciting to still work together and still have, a friendship after all this time. So it's very exciting, and I hope that there's more to come.
Now I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you mentioned that there will be two more novels to follow. This one will be released in July. Do you have a timetable for the other two?
Not yet. I mean, the second one will come out sometime next year,
You
and then
like making the people mad. You're gonna
no,
tease the
no. It's
people.
listen. You gotta give people what they want, but you gotta like let them.
Okay.
They gotta want it. They gotta. How bad do you want it? You know? And so and the thing is that I'm planning on the way I'm planning on doing the books are certainly going to speak to each other. They're going to speak to the movies that have already been, and there could be more stuff. You never know. It's slowly
No,
going to
I like the
table
game
bourbon
plan.
as well.
Yeah, no, I like the game plan. You got books, you got bourbon, and you got a hell of a catalog, TV series and movies. I like that. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit
Yeah.
because, yeah, I'm working on a project here in Kansas City, Missouri. We are building the Black Movie Hall of Fame.
Right.
We're renovating the old 1920 movie theater in the historic 18th and Vine Jazz District.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, it should come online sometime around February 2026.
Okay.
Working on it. The construction phase is in progress as we speak. But I do
Oh,
want to find out from you, Mr. Malcolm D. Lee, if you could induct the very first person into the Black Movie Hall of Fame, who would it be and why?
oh, probably Sidney Poitier. Because of what he was able to do, in front of the camera and behind the camera, and just his presence, was so expansive for, um, the dignity of Black folks in America. I mean, I'm sure there's other people I would have chosen, but he's the one that comes to mind first. Just a class act, and was a great actor, obviously, and a great director.
Yeah, I can't imagine his existence, like both like mentally and physically, because when he was making movies, like a lot of times people say you're the only one. I mean, he was literally the only one on set, the only one who represented an entire race. Like, I mean, the
Right.
amount of pressure that had to be, you know,
Absolutely.
because the moving images are powerful, and he was the sole representation. I just like, how does that weigh on you, like as an
Yeah.
individual?
Well,
Like,
he carried it very, very well.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. And then my final question would be, what's the one film about the Black experience that you would love to see celebrated in the Black Movie Hall of Fame? Like, what's an important movie to you? What's your go-to movie, or a movie that's influenced you, or a movie that you watch over and over again, or one that's inspired you as a filmmaker or as a person?
I tell you what, there's not. I can't say that it's the only. There's several. My cousin's movie "Do the Right Thing." A Soldier Story by Norman Jewison, not a black filmmaker, but a humanitarian. And those two come to mind right away. Um, God, there's so many. But those are the two that kind of do it for me right now. Yeah.
How old were you when Do the Right Thing came out?
19, 18, I think, yeah. I saw it when I was 18. I worked on it, on behind the scenes, as a production assistant, and I was an extra. And I saw it my freshman year when Spike did a preview in Washington, D.C. And so I saw it then. So yeah, 18.
Yeah, that's kind of like my go-to because well, it's a testament to the filmmaking, but it's also sad that it still is relevant in 2025 as it was in 1989, which is like brilliant in the fact that, Spike was able to, masterfully tell that story. But
Absolutely.
it's sad that all these years later, like nothing has changed.
No.
And yeah, I don't think a movie's ever punched me in the gut the way that one did. I mean, the opening alone, because you had never really seen anything like that, with the Rosie Perez dance
Yeah.
routine and he played the entire Public Enemy, fight the power song with those, in its day, those lyrics were fiery. Like,
Yeah. I mean, the scene that got me was when they killed Radio Raheem.
oh yeah,
I was just like, I was just, riveted in my seat and just like, couldn't believe what I was seeing. And, just the feeling out, all the emotions that were turning up inside of me watching it was pretty spectacular.
no, no. Well, I do want to say congratulations, though. I do think the move of becoming a novelist is genius, and I
Thank you.
think people are going to be excited. And I like the expansion of the franchise. I can't lie, I'm jealous. I like the expansion of the franchise. No, it's
Thank
dope.
you,
I love
man.
the
I
expansion of the
appreciate it.
franchise.
July 1st. And you can
Yeah,
pre-order it now and get your Sable as well.
yes, get the
Get
Sable
the
as
Sable
well.
bourbon.
And I'll say one more thing. If anyone watching this interview gets a chance, go and watch Malcolm's speech at the celebration of Black cinema
Oh
and
man.
television.
Thank you.
That that speech, my goodness.
Black
That
women all
that
day.
that was a great speech. So thank you. And once again, thanks for coming and supporting as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, thank you. I appreciate everything you do. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks
I
for
mean,
your time.
appreciate you.
Jackie, man. Jackie holds you down well. Thank you, Jackie.